You're listening to the Simple Growth Podcast, the show that helps business owners get their life back. Here's your host, Mike Callahan.
Welcome back to Work On It Wednesday. Myself and Dillan Ruthenberg of the Simple Growth team working and breaking out some time every Wednesday to help you work on your business and not in it, as Michael Gerber would say. So Dillan has got a action-packed Work On It Wednesday session that we're going to be diving into. So we've got a lot of questions of people that have been watching Work On It Wednesdays, and they do want to work on it, but they're not exactly sure what they should work on. So what we're going to be diving into today is a CRM audit. And you're probably asking, well, Mike, what is a CRM? Well, a CRM is a customer relationship management software. So there's a lot of service industry softwares out there. This is going to be non-specific software related. This is going to literally go into any service software that you're using. And we're going to break down the key areas, the 5 or 6 areas that you should have built out in the software you're using for your service business, whether it's lawn care, home cleaning, pest control, pool service. I don't care. These are the core areas that you need in your business to be successful and continue to grow with the new buying and technology shifts that are happening right now. So without any further delay, I am going to pull up the screen here once Dillan is ready, and we're going to dive into the actual audit. So live, Facebook Live, what could go wrong? We'll see. Oh, looks like you ready to go, Dillan?
I am ready to go, yep.
All right. Wasn't sure exactly what was on there before. Maybe some family portraits or something here.
Lost my page there for a second, but everything is back in order now.
Some selfies of that cat that sometimes jumps on the old Essay Weekly. All right, perfect. There we go. So we got the right screen here. But Dillan, you're going to be talking about what we need to have in our software or CRM for success for this year and again, this is software independent. Doesn't matter the software you're using, or if you're not using any software at all, you got the old pen and paper. These are some things that you need to start thinking about for success in your service business. So, Dillan, without any delay, brother, I will give you the floor.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I just wanted to touch on this quick, just because the kind of the free analysis and the free audit that we offer to people was kind of contrived around these couple things here that we thought were fundamental parts of a CRM that you need to have set up. And you kind of don't know what you don't know. So that's why we made this audits, working with so many companies in these different softwares. We're able to kind of show you blind spots that you might not even know exist. So it's really based around kind of a couple main sections here. So I can maybe zoom in a little bit more to make it easier. But we have sales automation.
And Dillan, while you do that, I just put a comment. Oh, I was going to say, before you do that, I just put a comment on the Facebook Live here. So live or recorded. If someone is interested in actually getting a free audit, Dillan and myself are actually doing these free audits while time permits. So feel free to click that link if this looks of interest and you want some help doing an audit of your software. So sorry about that. I just want to let people know that is available.
Yeah, no worries. And yeah, it doesn't take like hours. And audit is sometimes a little bit of a scary word. You think of kind of like the IRS coming and auditing you. Well, it's usually just like 20, 30 minutes, very conversational, but we're just asking you these types of questions that we'll get into in just a second. But the main points that we're looking at are what do you have set up for sales automations and just kind of sales systems, employee recruiting and automating. How are you tracking your assets? Are you using another piece of software, or actually have you made the software that you've already invested the time and money into work to actually manage your assets as well? Repetitive tasks, right? This is a major time sink for you in your office. How are you doing on that front? Are you doing anything to actually build route density, which regardless of what industry you're in, that's extremely important. And then do you have any way to actually automate your quotes so it's not relying on you or your sales staff to be kind of capped out at a certain amount of quotes per day? So that's kind of the premise that we use here when we're going through the actual audit itself. So let me bring that over here, and I will pull up the actual audit, and we'll get right into it.
Liking that background, pretty colorful there, brother.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but
it's nice. A good thing you're not auditing the back of my my screensaver there in the back of my setup. Probably would be failing in multiple levels. That is colorful. I like it. So once again, too, Dillan, I don't know if you touched on it. You're probably sure you're going to be touching on it. When you do, if you sign up for the free audit with Dillan or myself, you actually do get a report with the analysis. You can actually see something you can physically take away, no charge, of what you are missing in your software. Once again, it's software independent, or if you're not using a software, this can kind of give you an idea of where you should start and what the end goal is.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. I'll touch on that. That's kind of this second page here, if you can see it down at the bottom of the results, but I'll show you a sneak peek. Now, this is just kind of some random answers that I filled in here just so we can kind of see what it is. These aren't anybody's in particular, but this is the audit right here, where we're asking you some questions so we can provide you some feedback on how we at SimpleGrowth kind of think you're doing with regards to how effectively you're utilizing your CRM, whichever CRM that might be. So in order for us to grade you on how you're doing, we kind of need to know if you just started your business yesterday and you have no sales, or you've been around for 20 years and you got a team of 30 people, right? So the first thing we ask you is kind of what stage of business are you actually in? And we've kind of nicknamed them here: solopreneur, small team, steady operation, or a 7-figure plus business. So that kind of sets the stage for the entire thing.
Yeah, the cool thing is we've got 5 or 6 people on the SimpleGrowth team that have scaled multi 7-figure businesses. So the idea is we have been through all the stages of these businesses. We know the pitfalls. We know what the biggest pain point is and the most desired solution is. So as Dillan's going to walk you through this here, it's really important to go step by step, because we need to know what's the next growth hurdle and what's the most important part in your software to actually accomplish that. Yeah,
and to plan for that, right? We see some people that are stuck at certain sales marks, and they just can't get above it no matter what they're doing. So they kind of need someone to come in and help them and look at this type of stuff. And we also see people that are growing incredibly quickly, and you need to be planning for those problems that are going to be coming up at the $1 million, $2 million, and $5 million mark. So the first thing that we jump into before we can give you any expert advice is we need to know, have you actually been set up properly from the get-go, right? If it's kind of like building a house. If you have a really poor, unstable foundation, the house might look great, but it's kind of like a house of cards. So we look at how you're actually set up, some basic questions, if you're even using a CRM. Do you have some fundamental things that we think every business should have? And then we get into more of the office process stuff. So do you have actually a nice estimate document? Are you logging the calls and emails? Or is what a customer maybe tells you a couple months ago, and you're doing a quote 3 months later, do you even remember that information because it was never logged in the first place? So this is kind of what I call just the beginner section here. Ideally, you want to get 10 out of, or I think it's actually 15 out of 15 on this section. Not everybody does, but you want to get a really high grade on this section here because it is fairly basic stuff. Are your team members using a mobile app to clock in and out? All this stuff, though, as we get down to invoicing systems and logging equipment or property damage, all this stuff are fundamental parts of using a CRM. But ideally, there shouldn't be any major surprises here. We'd like to see people at least getting 12 plus out of 15 on this section here. Does that make sense, Mike?
Yeah, it makes complete sense. And I know you've done more than a few of these, so I've been trying to be quiet here just because I know that you've seen all different gamuts of this, but this makes complete sense to me. And the cool thing is we're really not trying to sell anything here. We just ultimately want you to make sure you've got the foundational pieces set up, because I know, at least when I set up my software or softwares along the road, some of these things weren't even in the software I was using, or I just completely missed them. So makes complete sense.
Yeah, and one of these questions might kind of jog your memory or expose a little bit of a pain point where you're saying, oh, geez, yeah, we haven't really got that point set up. So we'll kind of make some notes here on the side as we're going through this type of thing, and then we'll talk about it at the end. But some people, the setup of their CRM is just not a major issue. They're entirely set up. That's not the issue. It's something else. So then we kind of transition on to this next part here, which is kind of like the intermediate section. A lot of people will score almost perfect on this section too, but it's kind of progressing in difficulty as we go along. So if you remember the stages at the beginning, a business that just started out and that's a solopreneur, they're probably not going to get 10 or 12 out of 15 on this section here as we're getting into the more intermediate stages. But someone who's a 7-figure plus business should be getting a fairly good score on this. So this one, like I said, mainly about the sales analysis here. And we're asking, how many leads have you actually generated? right? How many quotes are you actually doing? Stuff like that. How are you actually performing the quotes? Is it relying on the business owner? Is it relying on a sales rep? Have you found any way to provide instant pricing for your customers? And then we go into some of the more advanced features of the CRM here, where are you actually automating your welcoming and your onboarding, your upsell process? We hear a lot of people that, I'm using my software to send out a couple emails every now and then, but then I forget about it for 3 or 4 months. And then I think, geez, we should probably be selling a little bit more work. So I send out another email. Well, that's not a really methodical and scalable process. So we start getting into stuff like that. Are your crews upselling any work for you? Right? I know everybody's pretty busy all around the country right now, but things do tend to slow down in the fall. And, with all those eyes and ears that you have out in the field, why not utilize your crews and utilize the software that you're already paying for to win you more work, right? At my company, we're able to sell almost $50,000 of work with literally no marketing costs, except for, maybe a couple extra seconds of the crews reporting these issues. So all this kind of plays into having a fully set up CRM. Do you have a monthly newsletter going out? Are you automatically wishing your clients happy holidays? And then, hey, is sales even an issue for you? If you're growing at 200% per year in sales, it might not be a major issue for you, but you might just need some help systematizing your sales or some guidance on that, which we offer for free during these audits. So that's kind of the sales portion. Like I said, a little bit more intermediate. This next one here is usually the trickiest part of the entire thing. And I think I've maybe had one person that got 14 out of 15 on here, but usually it's a pretty low score. And sometimes it's pretty eye-opening, where even a very accomplished business that's been around for a while, they either don't realize that a lot of this is even possible in their program that they're using, or on the other hand, they do realize it's possible, but they just have not built a system, and they're kind of kicking themselves for not actually doing these things that they know they need to be doing. Right. So sometimes, you get your report card and it might not be great, but at least you kind of know where you stand and you can make the improvements from there. So this one's all about the operational analysis. How are you actually using your CRM to help you operationally? It should not be a hindrance, right? This thing should be helping systematize your operations day in, day out. So, things like, Mike, that you talk about all the time, are you tracking if your teams are hitting their budgeted times versus actual? Right? It's not just a matter of selling the work and getting the work done and billing for it. You need to make sure that these jobs are actually profitable. And, we're mid-July now, but still gives you lots of time, regardless of what industry you're in, to fix some of these unprofitable issues and unprofitable clients that you might have. Are you communicating these results with your team for accountability? Do you have a process, like I mentioned earlier, to actually build route density? We have some pretty nifty automations, and there's some manual ways that you can do it in certain softwares. But you can actually be building your route density and marketing to just the leads around current customers that you have. It's nice to automate it, but boy, is it handy to also know the manual way if maybe you're not quite ready for automations yet. Are you tracking your churn? This is typically a pretty big issue, especially at high growth companies. Right, they're growing really quick. All the focus is on new sales, but then they're lacking on the customer onboarding and client retention. So, there's no point growing 50% if you're going to lose 49% of your client base the next year, right? So actually using your CRM to track that churn and track the churn percentage from year to year and kind of set a benchmark and hopefully reduce that each quarter and each year is really, really important. And in my opinion, a pretty underutilized part of the software. Do you have a defined interview process that is delegated to someone other than yourself? I don't want to hit on every single one of these here, but these are some of the kind of more advanced questions that, we would not expect a solopreneur to have a defined interview process that is delegated to someone other than themselves. But, someone who's 7 figures or, reaching the $2 million mark, if you're the one that's doing all the interviewing, you are essentially cementing yourself as the bottleneck in that scenario, right? So at that point, you really need to be overseeing all the processes maybe, but if you're involved in any of them too much, you're actually a hindrance to the company. A couple other cool things here. Have you received over 25 5-star reviews in the last month, ideally through an automation, right? You don't want to just be relying on, an admin staff to feel up to it, to go above and beyond. And when a customer gives you a compliment, reach back out to them or give them a call and ask for that review, right? You want that to be fully automated so that if you are having a down day, well, the system kind of makes up for you there. And then some really advanced ones here. I'll kind of touch on these last two. These are kind of my favorite here, 13 and 14. Are you, as the business owner, working less than 50 hours a week? Typically, we don't see that, right? And you gotta need to ask yourself, well, why are you working over 50 hours? And what are those major tasks, probably repetitive tasks, that you're doing day in, day out that are eating up those extra time, those extra hours that you probably want to be spending with your family or doing something just keep you refreshed and psyched up to go back to work each day. And then depending on the scale of your business, have you delegated 100% of the scheduling, billing, and sales tasks? Or are you still wearing a couple of those hats? And if you are, it's totally fine, especially depending on what stage of business you're in. But a lot of people, use one of our systems specifically for this, where they are wearing multiple hats, and we really need to have clearly defined roles. So I don't want to necessarily plug any of our products here, but these are the types of things that we uncover in this analysis. And let's just take a quick peek at the results here. I'll have to zoom out a little bit, but this is typically what we send people as a PDF. So it's nothing too fancy, but it gives you like a quick overview of kind of what stage of business you're in. What score did you get up on the setup section? What score did you get on the sales section? Which score did you get on the operations section? That's kind of the beginner, intermediate, and then the expert section. What's your overall score? And then we just kind of show it in a graph form. But this is the type of stuff that we run through with you, of course, on a screen share just like this. Sometimes we'll dive into people's files and look at a couple things specifically if there's one major thing that they really want addressed. But then, of course, we send these results, and you can review this with your team and see how you either internally want to handle these types of things, or if it is a problem that you actually might require a little bit of help with. So that's kind of the audit in a nutshell. We kind of zoomed through that pretty quick, but that's what we do. We've done probably about 100 of these now, and it's essentially just a free report, no obligation. We send this over to you, and then if you are lacking on one section, such as this, 47% in the operations, it's not really a great score, especially for a stage 3 business. So at that point, we'd actually probably take it one step further. And when we send you this report, we'd actually provide you a couple actionable recommendations as well that you can totally implement yourself free of charge. Or, you can obviously reach back out to us, and we of course help with these types of things.
Awesome work, Dylan. Yeah, I appreciate it. So work on it Wednesday. Like, what do we work on? This is exactly what you should be working on. So we've got the setup is pretty good shape. Sales 80% almost. We definitely want to work on that. But operations, we're going to hit on the weakest part to get the biggest impact, return on investment of time. So work on Wednesday. We really want to dial into what are the areas in the business we need to work on instead of being out in the field and grinding and not getting good return. So this is a great tool that we're going to provide for free for our viewers live and recorded. So if you click the link in the comments, Dylan and I will get you this free audit. You can click on our calendar, grab a half-hour slot, and we send this out usually within 24 to 48 hours afterwards, so you can actually have something you could print out and stick above your desk. And when you work on it with us on Work On It Wednesdays, you actually have a roadmap to work on the areas of your business that need the most amount of work. Dylan, any closing thoughts here? I know it's a little bit different than throwing the timer on and actually building some things out and showing people how to do this, but I think that a lot of times as business owners, we forget. We're like, well, now I've got time. Or I'm going to make time. What do I do? What's going to be the biggest effect, net effect for improvement in the business? Well, I think this is a great free tool that we've been providing. We haven't done it in a while, but I think it's about time to just kind of give back. We've got a little extra time here in the summer months to help folks out in the service industry. So any closing thoughts here? And like I said, the link is in the comments if you want to sign up for this.
Yeah, my only closing thoughts, I guess, would be it's only half hour of your time, right? So even if you think you got 90% of this set up. Doesn't really harm you to spend 20, 30 minutes with industry experts, just kind of confirming that you actually do have everything set up. Even in this 93% grade on the setup section of this, it might just be 1 or 2 minutes of something you got to enter in to get to 100%. So it's definitely worth the time investment, and hope to hear from some people pretty soon.
Awesome, brother. Appreciate it. I'll see you next Wednesday. Make sure to watch out. SA Weekly Talk Show coming back at you again this Friday. We're here to help you work on it, not in it, as Michael Gerber would say. We'll see you next Wednesday, and drop some comments in the live recorded version, what you're working on in your business this week, and any other pain points you'd like us to help you figure out how to work on it and not in it. We'll see you again next week. Work on it Wednesdays with Dillan and Mike from the SimpleGrowth team.
If you like this show, you might want to check out our resources at www.startsimplegrowth.com. While you're there, enter to win an estimator chatbot. Mike Callahan is available for private coaching.